Oh, hiya, honeys. Welcome back to my spooky little corner. For those that don't know me, I am Lady Mylita, and I bid you welcome to Monster Mondays. It's just another Monster Monday. So, if you find yourself asking, what are these Monster Mondays you speak of? Well, let me explain to you my concept. As many other YouTubers have done, they've combined two of their passions into one. And that's what I'm doing here on Monster Mondays to present to you, my lovely darklings. So Mondays, I will be coming to you with macabre tales of folkloric monsters or epic legendary creatures, of devious movies with sinister plots and creepy crawlers, and yes, even glorious written words of delirium and dark souls of the night. Oh, I'm getting better at this. As you know, I do not tell you what I'm using for makeup, but I will put it in the description box so you can know what I'm using today on my face. If that sounds like something you're into, stay tuned and let's dive in. So my honeys, I have a question today. Have you guys ever heard of the Squonk? Well, if you have, you're better off than I am at the moment, because let me tell you, I had not heard of the Squonk before this week. It is something completely new. On Facebook, you know, there is groups pretty much for everything anymore on there. And I found one for cryptids, which I thought, oh, that's amazing. It fits with my Monster Monday. I can learn stuff and, you know, just get to know other people within the same kind of mind frame as myself. So when you join, they ask questions like, you know, where'd you hear from us? And the one little bonus question is, what's your favorite cryptid? So, you know, I put down mine, which I'm not going to tell you because we'll talk about it on another Monster Monday. But, so you put down your favorite cryptid. Very cool, right? So the moderator, one of the moderators of the group, you know, there had been an influx of new members, which is yay. And the most used one for like their favorite cryptid was the Squonk. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is a Squonk? So, of course, I had to Google this. And after learning what the Squonk is, I wanted to share with you, my darklings, because it's kind of a sad tale. So, the Squonk is a mythical creature out of the hemlock forest in northern Pennsylvania. There is not a lot of information, and what information I have found, I'm planning on reading for you because I just think that'll be the easiest way to get this information kind of out for you. So the earliest known written account of the Squonk comes from a book by William T. Cox, and it's called Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods, with a few desert and mountain beasts. So the great thing is, you gotta love the internet. I was able to actually find the book itself that you can read online, and also all the like artwork for said book. So I am going to read the book for you because it's only like one page. And this is where it first was discovered, is in this Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods by William T. Cox. It also has artwork, which is super cool. It's just like a hand-drawn artwork though. So, you know, I don't know how many Squonks are out there, right? So, but it's cool. And I am going to add the art as I read to you so you can kind of visually see our buddy the Squonk here. So you kind of know what we're talking about here. And I'm just going to read it off my laptop here once I get this a little more blended that I like. The range of the Squonk is very limited. Few people outside of Pennsylvania have ever heard of the quaint beast, which, side note, is true because I had never heard of it, which is said to be fairly common in the hemlock forest of that state. The squonk is of a very retiring disposition, generally traveling around at twilight and dusk. Because of its misfitting skin, which is covered with warts and moles, it is always unhappy. In fact, it is said by people who are best able to judge to be the most morbid of beasts. Oh, poor thing. Hunters who are good at tracking are able to follow the squonk by its tear-stained trail. For the animal weeps constantly. When cornered and escape seems impossible, or when surprised and frightened, it may even dissolve itself into tears. Squonk hunters are most successful on frosty moonlit nights when the tears are shed slowly and the animal dislikes moving about. I get it. It may be heard weeping under the brot of the dark hemlock trees. Mr. J.P. Wentling, formerly of Pennsylvania, now at St. Anthony Park, Minnesota, had a disappointing experience with a squonk near Mount Alto. He made a clever capture by mimicking the squonk and inducing it to hop into a sack, in which he carried it home. Right? When suddenly the burden lightened and the weeping ceased, Wentling unslung the sack and looked in. There was nothing but tears and bubbles. Okay, and I put up a picture so you guys can kind of see what the depiction of the squonk is in this book. He looks bloody sad, and you know, he's been crying, and you know, it's like he's so hideous. All he does is cry. How terrible. How terrible is that? It seemed like there's not much actually out there about the squonk in particular, except for that's the first like book it was written in, and that book was published in 1910. There is not really a lot of accounts of said squonk. Looking online, at least, I couldn't really find much information about him, but I don't know. He pulled up my heartstrings, obviously, because, you know, he's ugly. And he seems to know he's ugly, which is even sadder, in my opinion, that, you know, he dislikes himself so much. He thinks he's so ugly that he hides. How sad is that? The only other source of another book I found about it, and I'll read you that one too. It is called Fearsome Critters again. This is by Henry H. Tyron, and it was published in 1939. And it had a page about the squonk as well. And another great thing, I was able to find this book as well online. So I'm able to also show you guys the picture of said squonk in this book. It looks a little more sinister than the first one, I think. The first one kind of looked a little more cutesy, I would say. And like, as you can see from the pictures, it's described like on all four legs. It doesn't look very big. I didn't really find any description of height or what have you of said squonk, but they don't look very big. They look kind of like, I don't know, like a dog size, maybe you want to say, maybe. But they're not very big. And really, you don't really want to find one because I think, you know, if you find one, they're just going to cry themselves to death. Who wants that on their conscience? I met a squonk today, and I also killed him because I scared him so much he cried. How sad! So the squonk actually has a scientific name as well, which interesting, right? Usually that's only given to, like, you know, actual creatures, but apparently the squonk has one. And it is, okay, I'm going to try and read this properly. If I mess it up, it's Latin. Obviously, I don't know Latin. It is pronounced Lacrimacorps dissolvent. That is the, like, taxidermy species name of the squonk. Who would have known, right? Isn't that interesting? I found that part really fascinating because usually they only give that type of stuff to, like, real critters. I don't know. Maybe this was just a part. It is actually mentioned in both books that this is the name for this beast. So maybe that's it. Maybe to give it more credit. I don't know. I should have looked, but in the book, they gave other critters, as they call it in the book, scientific names as well. That is something I did not check though. So maybe that's something I should have. And so this term, this Lacrimacorpus dissolvent, I hope I'm saying that right. It comes from the Latin words meaning tear, body, and dissolve. So that actually kind of makes sense with how, you know, it cries until it dies. So I do also have, I have said that I have the book from the other author, which is The Fearsome Critters from Henry H. Tyron from 1939. So I have it as well, and I thought I would read it too. And again, it's one page and it has the picture. And so here it is. I'm going to read this one to you as well. Probably the homeliest animal in the world, and knows it. Oh, gosh. The distribution was once fairly wide, the usual habitats being high plains where desert vegetation was abundant. History showed beyond dispute that these areas gradually changed to swampy, lake-dotted country. The squonk was forced to take to the water. Of distinctively low mentality, it traveled constantly around the unaccustomed marshes in search of fodder. With time, it developed webbing between its toes, but only on the submerged left feet. Hence, on entering the water, it could only swim in circles and never got back to shore. Poor squonks. Fossil bones dredged from these lake bottoms reveal thousands perished from starvation in this manner. Well, obviously, they're swimming around in circles. Are they really going to catch any food doing that? Like, these poor creatures. Oh my gosh. Today, the squonk is met with solely in the hemlock forest of Pennsylvania. It is a most retiring, bashful, crepuscular animal, garbed in loose, warty, singularly ill-fitting flesh. Oh gosh. The squonk is always unhappy. I mean, and even morbid. Oh my. He is given to constant weeping over his really upsetting appearance and can sometimes be tracked by his tear-stained trail. Moonlight nights are best for hunting squonks, for then the animal prefers to lie quiet in its hemlock home, fearing it should venture forth that it may catch a glimpse of itself in some moonlit pool. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you can hear one weeping softly to himself. The sound is a low note pleading, somewhat resembling the call of a cross-feathered snee. I'm assuming the Snee is another critter in said book. So this story says the same as our first one, our first tale by William T. Cox. They both say he's got really loose-fitting skin, and he's ugly, and he seems to know he's ugly, the poor, poor soul. And he's covered with warts and moles, and he's weeping all the time. Like I did mention, I found the picture in this book a little more sinister looking versus our kind of friendly one in the other one. But, so yeah, the web footing one, that is interesting. And well, of course they're all going to die. Like what do you expect? They're just going to go around in circles and circles and circles. But the tales of the Squonk, he doesn't seem like a menacing monster by any means, like some of the folkloric stories sound. He just sounds kind of sad all the time, which I don't know. That makes me kind of sad. Poor thing. And that, my lovelies, is the tale of the Squonk. I know I didn't really have much to go on. There wasn't a lot out there on the internet, but because I had never heard of it, I wanted to kind of talk about it with you. I think what captivated me about the whole Squonk is how it's supposedly so ugly that all it does is cry. But in another one of the stories, it says that it's not very intelligent, but it must be kind of intelligent if it knows it's that ugly. Just my opinion. What do you guys think of the Squonk? Let me know down below. I personally just think he's so sad. I just kind of want to give him a hug, right? We're all beautiful in our own way, honey. Don't cry, because if you cry, you die. So yes, if you are in Pennsylvania near the hemlock forest, you know, please watch out for squonks and don't go near them, because they will get so upset and so sad they will cry. So just stay away. As always, my darklings, you know where to find me. I am on Instagram and Facebook under Lady Mylita. And on Mondays, we discuss monsters for Monster Monday. Or creatures, or books, or whatever else may tickle my fancy that week. Thank you for joining me today on another Monster Monday. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment if there is some monster or story or perhaps even a movie that you would like me to talk about. Leave it down below. I'm always looking for new topics for you guys. I'm really enjoying this series. I hope you are too. Stay safe, and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. Goodbye, my darklings.